Welcome to InfoHub. In our headlines, Guyana is fit to fight against money laundering and terrorist financing. 20 community advocates to be trained as CAP launched in Region 6. Foreign Affairs Minister clarifies that Guyana's honorary consuls are unpaid, and Guyana House of Culture is to be established in Cuba. Stay tuned for the details of these and more. And now for the details. President David Granger, delivering the feature address at the opening ceremony of the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force CFATF conference, said Guyana is not only part of the regional fight against money laundering and terrorist financing, but it is fit to fight. More in this report from Stacey Carmichael.
Guyana embarked on the path of passing robust regulations and legislation to protect its financial system from unlawful activities 17 years ago. It passed the Money Laundering Prevention Act in 2000, the Anti-Money Laundering and the Countering of Financing of Terrorism Act in 2009, the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering of Financing of Terrorism Amendment Act in 2010, the Anti-Money Laundering and the Countering the Financing of Terrorism Amendment Act 2015, and the Anti-Money Laundering and the Countering of the Financing of Terrorism Amendment Act No. 2 in 2015. This legislation progressively has corrected the deficiencies in the anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism regime and allowed for the improvement of compliance with the task force's standards.
The head of state further noted that the Bank of Guyana, the Financial Intelligence Unit, and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions have all been empowered with the authority and autonomy to discharge their functions in accordance with the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism AML-CFT legislation. Turning his attention to the region, the President said the Caribbean, due to its location and fragmented jurisdictions, makes it a paradise for money launderers, tax evaders, and assorted transnational criminal cartels.
These crimes have the potential of disrupting our paradise, disrupting our economies, of corrupting officials, of subverting our institutions, of perverting our youth, and of spawning frightening levels of crime and violence in society. Ladies and gentlemen, your task force's recommendations are necessary to insulate the region's financial sector from the crimes of money laundering and the financing of terrorism. Your task force's recommendations can help to insulate the region's economies from contamination by dirty money and by protecting the integrity of our financial sector.
President Granger said CFATF can lend to the enhancing of connectedness between regional banks and international financial institutions. Meantime, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senior Counsel Basil Williams, said that the hosting of the conference here is a memorable and auspicious one for Guyana, since it puts the country in the position to lead the regional drive in the fight against money laundering and terrorist financing. He underscored the importance of effective implementation and strict compliance with the recommendations of the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, in this fight.
Left unchecked, the predations of transnational criminal organizations, terrorist financing networks, and increasingly importantly for this region, returning foreign terrorist fighters have the potential to adversely impact in a significant way the peace, tranquility, and economic security of our region. So constant vigilance by all of us is critical.
The 46th plenary and working group meetings of the CFATF will conclude on Thursday, November 16, 2017. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Alexis Rodney now tells us that Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge has sought to set the record straight about Guyana's handling of its honorary consuls in various countries, stating that the volunteers are not employed by the government here.
Minister Greenidge was making reference to an article in the local media where the honorary consul in Miami, Ramzan Roshanali, was allegedly criticized by Guyanese in North America for inefficient service. But Minister Greenidge said that the post of honorary consul is voluntary.
Honorary consul is characterized by the following. One, they are unpaid. As regards their labor, they are unpaid.
Minister Greenidge said that the situation is not peculiar to Guyana or any other developing country. In instances where a government is unable to set up offices of consul generals in countries where Guyanese reside, it retains the services of prominent individuals to function as honorary consul. Guyana, he said, has some 29 honorary consuls who are paid an honorarium or stipend of US $500 per month.
Because we try to ensure that the expenses they incur are minimized, they are chosen because they have a capacity to save us money. In other words, you choose either a businessman, somebody with premises already and staff, or you choose a professional.
Alexis Rodney for InfoHub.
InfoHub's Delicia Haynes reports that in an effort to strengthen Region 6 response to social issues, 20 stakeholders are being trained under the Ministry of Social Protection's Community Advocacy Program, CAP, which was launched on Tuesday at Rose Hall Town, East Berbice, Quarantine.
Hemwati Lagan, Senior Gender Affairs Officer, explained that the exercise seeks to build a network of advocates countrywide to strengthen communities' response to social issues.
Each community will have a group of advocates like yourself who will work closely with vulnerable and disadvantaged groups, linking them with resources that would have otherwise been unavailable or inaccessible. Community advocates will also function as a liaison between the community and the Ministry of Social Protection and other key networks.
Lagan added that each community will be assigned a unit of advocates who will work closely with the targeted groups in order to link them with resources that would otherwise be unavailable or inaccessible.
Build a network of advocates countrywide to strengthen the community's response to social issues in Guyana, and I think I've elaborated on that a lot. Empower and equip communities through the acquisition of knowledge and coping skills that you will get here, because you would want to know, how can I cope with these issues? They're there, what do? I don't have the know-how, so you will be equipped.
Among other topics to be covered during the trainings are children and family welfare, gender equality and social inclusion, sexual offenses and domestic violence, social security, trafficking in persons, labor and occupational health and safety, and the importance of cooperatives. CAP was established to empower paraprofessionals to address social issues in Guyana. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
Still ahead, Kwakwani residents encouraged to develop sport and pension book distribution set for November 20, as social workers warned not to convert the pensions for personal use. Details after this. InfoHub continues with a report from Zenil Williams, who tells us that during a Ministry of Social Cohesion outreach in Kwakwani, residents were encouraged to collaborate in order to develop sport within the region.
Minister of Social Cohesion Dr. George Norton acknowledged that the cooperation of relevant stakeholders will be crucial to fostering sport within Region 10.
If what used to take place in Kwakwani continued for the last 2 years, then in this third year, it has to change. And we are going to change it. We are going to strive for the change to be positive, to be improvement. Okay? So we are here to kind of foster that change and to make it positive, to guide you.
Minister Norton emphasized that Guyana's true potential has for too long gone without proper utilization, hence the need for promoting and providing opportunities for its athletes. Director of Sports Christopher Jones assured the sport personnel attending the meeting that Kwakwani athletes will no longer be left behind.
In order to foster cohesion, all must be involved. That is why essentially we are here today, to let you know that No longer Kokwani, because of its distance, will be in the dark. Because under the leadership of Minister Norton, he intends to ensure that all of your young people have every opportunity like those on the coastline.
The government officials also reaffirmed the administration's commitment to ensuring that the country's rural and hinterland athletes are provided with equal opportunities as their counterparts in Georgetown, Linden, and New Amsterdam, among other areas. Zanil Williams reporting for InfoHub.
Social workers warned of the consequences of trying to shortchange senior citizens of their pension as pension book distribution is set for November 20. Delicia Haynes explains.
Social workers from all 10 administrative regions were this morning briefed on the correct distribution of pension books during a workshop at the Guyana Police Force Training Center. Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali, making brief remarks, warned social workers not to convert the pensions for personal use.
I want to emphasize that the little money that our seniors get must not be converted to your own. I will have no hesitation but to ask the police to take charge. And whatever will be, will be. We will not condone that. Regardless if it is 1 book, 10 books, 100 books, you are to do what you are supposed to do.
The minister emphasized that persons caught trying to fleece senior citizens will be immediately dismissed.
At the moment, we have people suspended from their job. Well, let me tell you, this minister is a little different. I ain't dealing with suspension. I deal with dismissal. Because that is why we call you here this morning, to remind you and to tell you what is expected of you, so that you can be prepared and you know that if you go outside of the rules, anything could happen.
Social workers were also reminded to be vigilant of persons who may attempt to illegally cash more than 3 pension books. The pension book distribution will run for 3 weeks. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
In observance of World Diabetes Day yesterday, the Lions Club of Diamond Grove held an interactive session and screening for diabetes at the Ramada Princess Hotel.
According to statistics, diabetes is one of the leading causes of death in Guyana's workforce. At the session, chairperson of the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, Cassandra Alves, outlined the worrying statistics regarding diabetes in the region.
In the region of the Americas, in which there are some 54 countries, the situation is quite alarming in Guyana and Trinidad, which occupy the top 2 positions with regard to the incidence of diabetes and deaths of persons during their working life, and those becoming sick or chronically ill or disabled due to diabetes.
The WHO's 2016 country profile for Guyana revealed that most deaths occurred in the 30 to 69 age range. Alves advocated for increased physical activity and exercise and also for persons to make wellness a priority.
Diabetes is a long-term condition that causes high blood sugar levels. So first, we have to take a look at our diet and eating habits. It is ill-advised to indulge in eating habits that will jeopardize our health. So let's craft a healthy eating plan, one that has less consumption of sugar. Our sugary drinks and snacks and all the processed foods high in sugar that we consume. It is crucial that we control our blood glucose levels. So let us take a keen look at the household nutrition and make the appropriate changes.
Alves noted that the country's economy will be severely compromised if human resources are lost on a yearly basis. World Diabetes Day is observed every year on November 14.
And in our final report, the Guyana Embassy in Cuba will soon be establishing a Guyana House of Culture in an effort to strengthen ties between the 2 countries.
I believe strongly that cultural relations play a fundamental role in developing strong, friendly, enduring relationships between peoples.
Guyana's ambassador to Cuba, His Excellency Hala Majid, disclosed that the House of Culture is an initiative of the Cuban ambassador to Guyana, Julio Cesar Gonzalez Marchant. Steel pan music will be one of the notable features of the House of Culture.
42 years ago, under the administration of Prime Minister Burnham, the Cuban Steel Band was established. And then it went into dormancy. After I learned about that, I came to the conclusion that we need to resuscitate this. And then I thought what would go well with the steel band would be a dance troupe. So the Guyana Embassy has not only resuscitated the steel band, but we have adopted a Cuban dance troupe.
Ambassador Majid stated that the facility, which will be accommodated at Hotel Comodoro in Havana, will need support in the form of paintings, artifacts, sculptures from Guyana to get off the ground. Additionally, earlier this year, the Guyana-Cuba Friendship Association was established, and members from Cuba have spent time in Guyana to better understand the people and the culture. Ernestine Leonard for InfoHub.
Thanks for watching. Remember to connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. Goodbye.